I'm starting with a breaker bar and a 13 mm socket to try to break this lower bolt loose. There it goes. Okay, for the top bolt, the clearance here is a little bit less, so I couldn't get a half-inch socket in there. This is too tight. So I'm going to get this 13 mm T-handle on it and then use this pipe to get some leverage on it. Let's see if that works. Yep, there it goes. Okay, so as you can see, I took those two bolts out. That's the top bolt, that's the bottom bolt, and I still couldn't get the shock off. So I took the seat and tank off, and I was thinking maybe if I can raise the shock up this way, I may be able to get it out. I don't think it's possible to get the shock out with just this much. I think if I move the subframe out of the way, like lift the subframe up from here, I should be able to get the shock off. But I don't think I can. I tried wiggling it in all sorts of directions. I don't think that's going to work. So moving the subframe out is not hard. There's this one bolt here that needs to be completely off. There's one more on the other side matching that one, and then this bolt here, I just need to get this loose, and similarly another bolt. So get the two of them loose. The air boot needs to come off the carb. So on this side, like loosen this clamp, so then you can just lift the subframe up from here, from the side, and the air boot should come off here. And because these bolts are gone, the subframe should swing up. And then once it's sufficiently out of the way, tighten this bolt and the one on the other side back up so it stays raised up. And if I get that just enough, I should be able to get the shock off. All right, so here is how the shock comes out. So once you get these loose, the subframe is loose, hold this with the reservoir, subframe this out of the way, get the shock free from here, and that's it. Just comes out of here just like that, and then let the subframe drop. That's it. It's as easy as that. All right, so that's off now. This nut is off. I use this KTM tool. You can use any shock absorber adjusting wrench to get this off. It's completely bottomed out now. And then I tilt the fork. Looks like there's enough room and I don't need a shock compressor tool. And just trying to get this bumper out of the way, this rubber bumper out of the way. And that should give me enough room to get the spring off. Yep, just forcing it down with my fingers here. Collar drops down. Collar comes out. And that's it. The spring should come off now. There we go. Alrighty. Stock spring is off. I'm going to quickly measure this. Yeah, here. You see this is the 5.2. I'm pretty fat, so I'm going to be using the 5.8. And yeah, they are the same length. I got this 5.8 from Slavens. I trust Slavens for all like springs and stuff. It's the same size, high quality. I would recommend getting suspension stuff from Slavens. Alright, so I cleaned this up a bit. Just contact cleaner and rag. Clean the shaft up, inspected it, there's no burrs, there's nothing, there's no oil leak, so everything looks good. So get the new spring on. Spring on, it's the same length, so it should be fairly easy to get this back on. This way, yeah, so on this type of shock, the Sachs, it doesn't have any circlip or any of that. So it looks like this collar is held on here just by spring pressure. So the only way it comes off is if you allow it to drop and then it slides out over the shaft. But once it goes up, it hooks on to this little, this part over here. So there's no way this is going to move. And it stays there because of the spring. So get the spring on this way. And see, now it's not coming off because it catches right there. And that should be it. Get this back on. And to put it back in, the same thing, lift it out of the way, get it kind of down in there, get it up here, make sure the air boot is not catching on the shock. Lower it nice and easy. And then get the shock in place here, bust out the torque wrench. So this upper and lower bolt, they're supposed to be the same, 70 Newton meters, which is like 51.5 foot-pound or so. It's a lot of torque. Yeah, I'm going to start torquing it up, but if I at any point feel like this is too much, I'll stop. Some of the torque specs seem kind of crazy. On this bike, even the axle, I believe, go up to like 50 Newton meters or something, or maybe 50 foot-pounds. That's too much torque. Okay, it's not too bad. Go to this one again, make sure it's there. So that's it. I think that's done. Get the subframe back in place, get it all nice and torqued up, make sure the air boot goes back on the carb easy or correctly. Tank seat, everything comes back on. Then I just need to set the sag. As you can see, I left this one loose because I need to set the sag. The one thing kind of sucks on this bike is there's just no way to get a spanner on here to adjust this. And I really don't like beating up on it with the punch and hammer, but it is what it is. Some people told me you can get a screwdriver on here and kind of leverage off the frame and turn it. I don't know about that. I wasn't able to do it. But yeah, that should be the end of that.